tell me what letter comes next?
It's a D!
Yes, a D.
For Blessing, it took exactly 16 years to become the pride of Amaudo village. And one Sunday morning to lose it all. This is not a story about a bad girl who got caught. This is a story about a good girl nobody believed. Before the shame, before the exile, before the truth that came too late, there was just Blessing, the girl who woke before the sun, the girl fathers pointed to when disciplining their daughters, the girl who carried the dreams of an entire community on her shoulders. And the morning they sent her away, that morning, nobody asked questions. Nobody listened. Nobody protected her. By the time the truth surfaced, years had already passed. Blessing's day began when most of the village was still asleep. 5 a.m. While other children buried themselves under thin wrappers, dreaming 5 more minutes of rest, Blessing was already outside helping her mother grind maize. The sound of stone against stone, the rhythm of survival. Mother and daughter, working in perfect silence. Her father would emerge from the house, yawning, stretching. He would see them and smile. That smile. The one fathers save for daughters who never disappoint. "My jewel," he would say. "One day this village will remember your name." By 6:30 a.m., Blessing had already swept the compound, fetched water from the borehole, fed the chickens, helped prepare breakfast. And still, she arrived at school first. Every single day, her classmates would find her already seated, books open, reading quietly while waiting for the teacher. The teachers loved her, not because she was the smartest, but because she tried the hardest. When she didn't understand something, she stayed behind. "Sir, please explain it one more time." Her handwriting was neat. Her uniform, though old, was always clean. Her respect, unfailing. But Blessing was more than just a good student. She was the girl who read letters for elderly villagers who never learned to write. Mama Hugo would sit beside her, nervous, holding a letter from her son in the city. Blessing would read slowly, gently, making sure Mama Hugo understood every word. "He says he is coming home for Christmas, Mama." Mama Hugo's face would light up. "Thank you, my daughter. Let me give you something." Blessing would refuse, gently. "Pray for me instead, Mama." That is enough. Stories like these spread. The village began to see Blessing not just as Namdi's daughter, but as their daughter, their hope, their proof that good things could still come from Amaudo village. Because you see, Amaudo was not a wealthy village. No tarred roads, no hospital, no secondary school within 10 kilometers. Most children dropped out after primary school. Boys went to learn trades. Girls got married early. Education was a dream few families could afford. But Blessing was different. She scored the highest marks in the local government exams. The first girl from Amaudo to do so in over a decade. Her father stood taller after that result was announced. At village meetings, elders would say, "Namdi, your daughter is going places." When Blessing graduates, her father would reply proudly, "This whole village graduates with her." Those words, they were not just pride. They were prophecy. They were burden. They were expectation wrapped in love. Blessing carried them all, and she never complained. Because to Blessing, making her family proud was not a choice. It was her purpose. Everything changed the day the man with the briefcase arrived. It was a Tuesday afternoon. The village square filled quickly when word spread. "There is a visitor from the charity organization." His name was Mr. Kenneth. Tall, well-dressed, spoke English like someone from the city, carried himself with the confidence of a man who had seen the world. He gathered the villagers and explained. His organization was selecting talented students from rural communities, scholarship opportunities, free training, study abroad programs, a chance to change destinies. The villagers listened, wide-eyed. This was hope, wrapped in a briefcase. "We are looking for students with discipline," Mr. Kenneth said. "Students who are serious. Students who will not waste this opportunity." Before he even finished speaking, voices called out, "Blessing, Namdi's daughter. She is the one." Mr. Kenneth smiled. "Bring her to me." Blessing was fetched from school. She stood before him, nervous, unsure. Mr. Kenneth studied her. "What is your dream?" he asked. Blessing hesitated. Then quietly, "I want to become a teacher, sir." Mr. Kenneth nodded, impressed. "Good. Very good. I will train you personally. If you work hard, you will not just be a teacher in this village. You will study overseas. You will come back and change lives." The crowd erupted in applause. Blessing's father could not hide his joy. Tears filled his eyes. That evening, the whole village celebrated. Blessing is going abroad. Our daughter is going places. And so, the lessons began. Every Saturday and Sunday, Mr. Kenneth would come to the village. He set up a small classroom in the community hall. Blessing and 3 other students attended. At first, everything seemed normal. Mr. Kenneth taught well. He asked questions. He corrected mistakes. He brought textbooks no one in the village had ever seen. The parents felt honored. "This man is helping our children for free," they said. "He is a godsend." But after some weeks, things began to change. Blessing started arriving home late, quieter than usual. Her mother noticed. "How are the lessons?" "Fine, Mama." But Blessing's smile had faded. Her mother assumed it was pressure. "The scholarship exam is coming. She is just worried." Her father said, "Leave her. Serious students must sacrifice." Nobody looked deeper. Because Mr. Kenneth was a man of respect, a man of education, a helper of destiny. Who would suspect him? It was a Sunday morning. The church service had just begun when Blessing collapsed. One moment she was standing with the choir. The next, she was on the floor. Chaos. Women rushed to her. Men carried her outside. Someone ran to fetch water. "She is breathing. Wake up, Blessing." Her father's face went pale. Her mother cried, "My daughter, my daughter." They carried her to the nearest clinic, 7 kilometers away. By the time they arrived, Blessing had regained consciousness. She sat on the bench, dazed, confused. The nurse examined her, checked her pulse, asked questions. Then the nurse called Blessing's parents into a private room. What she said next shattered everything. "Your daughter is pregnant." Silence. The kind of silence that feels like the world has stopped moving. Blessing's mother whispered, "No, that is not possible." The nurse repeated, gently but firmly, "She is about 12 weeks along." Blessing's father stood frozen. His mind could not process it. His daughter, his jewel, the pride of the village, pregnant. By the time they left the clinic, the news had already spread, faster than harmattan wind, sharper than a freshly sharpened blade. By evening, the entire village knew, and the whispers began. "Blessing is pregnant." The same Blessing? The one we called our daughter? So she was deceiving us all this time. I always knew something was wrong with that girl. She was too quiet. Quiet ones are always hiding something. Nambi must be so ashamed. Sound, angry voices, footsteps. That night, the elders came to Blessing's father's house. They sat in a circle, solemn, judgmental, final. Namdi, the oldest elder, began. "We respect you, but this is a disgrace." Blessing's father said nothing. He sat with his head in his hands. "If you defend her," another elder warned, "people will think you approved of this behavior." "She must leave," a third elder declared. "Immediately." "But she is still a child." Blessing's mother cried from the doorway. "A child?" one elder scoffed. "A child does not get pregnant." "Who is responsible?" someone asked. All eyes turned to Blessing's father. "Did she tell you who it is?" Blessing's father shook his head slowly. They had tried. They had asked. They had demanded. But Blessing could not speak. Every time her father asked, "Who did this to you?" Blessing's mouth would open. No words would come. Only tears. Fear had stolen her voice. Confusion had tangled her thoughts. How could she explain what she did not fully understand herself? How could she tell them about the lessons that became something else? About the man they all trusted? About the shame she felt even though she had done nothing wrong? She tried. God knows she tried. But the words were trapped. And silence, to the elders, was the same as guilt. By sunrise, the decision was made. Blessing had to leave. No investigation. No questions about Mr. Kenneth. No protection for a 16-year-old girl. Just shame. And exile. Her mother packed a small bag. Blessing stood in the doorway of the only home she had ever known. Her father could not look at her. "Go," he said quietly. "Do not come back until you can explain yourself." Blessing wanted to scream, wanted to beg, wanted to tell them everything. But the words still would not come. So she walked, one foot in front of the other, away from her home, away from her dreams, away from the people who once called her their pride. Behind her, the village watched. Some faces showed pity, others, disgust, most, indifference. By noon, Blessing was gone, and Amaudo village returned to normal, as if nothing had happened, as if a girl's life had not just been destroyed. Blessing walked until her feet bled. She did not know where she was going, only that she could not stay. She reached a roadside settlement, 30 kilometers from Amaudo, a place with no name. Just scattered shops, motor parks, and strangers. No one here knew her. No one cared. For the first time in her life, Blessing was invisible. And invisibility, she discovered, was a strange kind of freedom. She found work at a vegetable market, washing tomatoes, sorting peppers, carrying baskets. The work was hard. The pay, almost nothing. But it was something. At night, she slept in a storage shed behind one of the stalls. Cold, dark, alone. Weeks passed. Blessing's body changed. Her stomach grew. Her back ached. Morning sickness made work unbearable. One day, she collapsed while carrying a basket of vegetables. A woman rushed to her side. Her name was Mama Chitty, a widow, a food vendor, a woman who had lost her own daughter years ago. Mama Chitty looked at Blessing and saw herself. Young, alone, struggling. Come, Mama Chitty said gently. You cannot sleep in a shed. Not in your condition. Blessing tried to refuse. But Mama Chitty would not hear it. A child carrying sorrow should not also carry hunger. And so, Blessing moved into Mama Chitty's small room behind the food stall. One room, one mattress, one kerosene lamp. But for the first time in months, Blessing felt safe. Months passed, and one night, in that small room, Blessing gave birth. No hospital, no doctors, just Mama Chitty and a neighbor who knew how to deliver babies. The labor was long, the pain unbearable. But when it was over, Blessing held her son. Small, perfect, crying loudly. She looked at him and cried. Not from sadness, but from a strange, unexpected feeling. Love. And for the first time since everything fell apart, Blessing felt something new. Purpose. Blessing refused to let her story end in that small room. While Mama Chitty watched the baby during the day, Blessing returned to work. But she also did something no one expected. She enrolled in evening adult classes at a nearby community center. After working all day, after feeding her son, after everything, she sat in a classroom with adults twice her age and learned mathematics, English, basic bookkeeping. The other students mocked her sometimes. Why are you wasting your time? You have a child. Your life is already decided. But Blessing ignored them, because deep inside, she remembered something her father once said. Education is the only thing nobody can take from you. He had sent her away, but his words stayed. Months became years. Blessing learned bookkeeping. She started helping market women track their earnings. Soon, small traders were paying her to manage their accounts. She saved, little by little, naira by naira, until one day, she had enough to start something of her own. A small produce supply business. She would buy vegetables in bulk from farmers and sell to market vendors. It was not much, but it was hers. Slowly, Blessing's name began to be spoken again. Not in Amaudo village, but here, in this roadside settlement where nobody knew the girl she used to be. Here, she was not blessing the disgraced daughter. She was blessing the businesswoman, blessing the survivor, blessing the woman raising her son alone and still standing. Years passed. Blessing's son turned 5. Her business had grown. She rented a small shop, employed 2 helpers, sent money to Mama Chitty, who had become too old to work. Life was not perfect, but it was stable. And then one afternoon, everything changed again. Blessing was listening to the radio while working when a news report caught her attention. A national investigation has uncovered widespread misconduct within several rural education charities. Blessing froze. Field officers are accused of exploiting students under the guise of scholarship programs. Her heart pounded. Several complaints have been filed against coordinators who abuse their access to vulnerable children in remote communities. The name was mentioned. Kenneth Okafor, among others. Blessing's hands shook. The radio continued. Authorities report that many victims never came forward due to shame, fear, or family pressure. Some cases date back years. Blessing sat down slowly. The truth had surfaced. But too late. Too late to undo the damage. Too late to restore the years she lost. Too late to bring back her father's smile. She turned off the radio and sat in silence. Anger, relief, grief, all at once. For years, she had carried the weight of blame. The village had called her a disgrace. Her father had sent her away. And all along, she had been telling the truth with her silence. Now the world knew. But what did it change? Nothing. And everything. 2 years after the news broke, Blessing made a decision. She would return to Amaudo village. Not to confront. Not to demand apologies. Not to prove anything. But to see her mother. Because despite everything, Blessing still loved her. She packed a small bag, dressed her son in his best clothes, and drove back to the place she once called home. The village had changed. Newer houses, a borehole near the square, children she did not recognize, but the air still smelled the same. Dust and firewood. Home. She walked slowly through the village. People stopped and stared. Whispers followed her. Is that Blessing? Namby's daughter? The one who... Yes, that one. But look at her. She looks well. Blessing did not stop to greet anyone. She walked straight to her father's compound. When she entered, her mother was sweeping the yard. The broom fell from her hands. Blessing. Blessing knelt. Respect. Even after everything. Her mother rushed forward, crying, pulling her up. My daughter. My daughter. They held each other. Years of pain melted in that embrace. By evening, the whole village knew Blessing had returned. And this time, they did not whisper. They gathered. Curious. Ashamed. Uncertain. Blessing stood before them. Her son beside her. She did not shout. She did not cry. She simply spoke. When you sent me away, Blessing began, her voice steady. I thought my life had ended. Silence. I thought I had lost everything. She looked around at the faces that once rejected her. But I learned something. She paused. A person's future is not decided by the day they are rejected. Tears filled some eyes. I did not come here to shame anyone. Blessing continued. I came to see my mother, and to tell you that I forgive you. Her father stood at the edge of the crowd. Old, frail, broken. His eyes met hers. And in that moment, something passed between them. Not words, just understanding. He had failed her. He knew it. And she had forgiven him. Even before he asked. Before Blessing left the village, her father called her aside. They sat under the mango tree where he used to tell her stories when she was small. For a long time, neither spoke. Then, quietly, her father said, I should have protected you. Blessing looked at him. I should have listened, he continued, his voice breaking. I should have believed you. A tear rolled down his weathered cheek. I failed you, my jewel. Blessing reached out and took his hand. You were afraid, Papa, she said gently. The village was watching. The elders were waiting. You did not know what to do. But I should have chosen you, he whispered. Blessing squeezed his hand. You did, Papa. You called me your jewel. You told me education was the only thing nobody could take from me. Those words saved my life. Her father looked at her, stunned. When everything fell apart, Blessing smiled softly. I remembered what you taught me. And I kept going. Her father wept. Not the silent tears of shame, but the loud, broken sobs of a man who had been carrying guilt for years. Blessing held him. Like a daughter. Like a mother. Like the woman she had become. And when the tears finally stopped, her father looked at her grandson. The boy who had been born from pain, but raised with love. What is his name? Her father asked. Blessing smiled. Ibub. Glory. Her father's eyes filled with fresh tears. Glory, he repeated softly. Yes, Papa, Blessing said. Because even in the darkest times, there is still glory ahead. Her father pulled his grandson close. And for the first time in years, he smiled. A real smile. The kind fathers save for their daughters who never stopped being jewels. Even when the world forgot. Blessing did not stay in the village. But she visited often. And every time she left, the villagers watched her drive away. Not with judgment. Not with pity. But with something they should have given her from the beginning. Respect. Because Blessing did not just survive. She became exactly what her name promised. A blessing. To her son. To Mama Chitty. To her parents. And to everyone who had ever doubted that a broken story could still have a beautiful ending. This story is for every girl who was blamed for something that was never her fault. For every child whose voice was silenced by fear. For every person who rebuilt their life from nothing. You are not your worst day. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become after everything fell apart. And that is your glory. Music